And now the conclusion.
Chris, was it you that mentioned the power loader earlier? You said you have the power loader, the naked power loader?
Yeah.
Bruh, the power loader that Kenner released in the 90s when I was a kid, that changed my life. When I saw that, I was like, I don't even know what that is. I need it. I want it. It's kind of like that exosuit kind of a thing. They souped it up a little bit. They add some weapons on it that aren't actually in the movie to kind of make it more like military instead of just like a box mover essentially. But bro, that was so cool. And like what does she say? Like, get away from her, you bitch! Like me being like a 9-year-old kid, like, get away from her, you bitch! Like with the power loader in my hand, like that was a game changer. Like when I saw that as a kid, that I've still got a Kenner in the box power loader from back in the day that I don't know, man, that's a prized possession of mine. I love that. But speaking of exosuits, so we were talking about this earlier. We wanted to highlight, kind of every podcast, like some vintage toy line, maybe a couple of vintage toy lines, whatever. And I know, Jared, you were maybe not on the market for, but you were definitely out there searching for some Exosquad suits on eBay just to see what was out there from back in the day. Maybe fill our audience in. What is Exosquad, Jerry? Tell us all about it.
Yeah, Exosquad, from what I remember, it's a cartoon. It was early or mid 90s. I think it was like 94, 95. Basically just, gosh, I don't even remember the premise of the show, but I just remember the awesome toys. And
I'm an Exosquad fanatic. I don't need to talk with you, Jared. Just tell me to tag in and I can help with that.
No, by all means.
So Exosquad came out, like you said, like 95, 96, 97, around about that time frame, middle school for me. And basically it was like Earth in like the 22nd century. And they had created these beings called Neo-Sapiens. They were like humans with only 3 fingers and 3 toes, but they were like all 7 feet tall, and they were all male. And they created them and were using them for manual labor and stuff as they populated Mars and terraformed Mars and Venus and stuff like that. Like there were colonies on Venus and Mars in their spacesuits. Well, the Neo-Sapiens rose up and rebelled against the humans, and they had an Earth Neo-Sapien war, and then they found and brokered peace. So Exosquad is about, the fleet, the Exo fleet, and the Neo-Sapiens, the humans, unbeknownst to them, the Neo-Sapiens led by Phaeton, he basically took over Earth and knocked out Earth, and the Exo fleet had to flee the inner solar system to keep from being destroyed. So Earth was taken over by the Neo-Sapiens and stuff. So the show's about the humans trying to get back and reclaim Earth. And that show was very adult because it dealt with PTSD, even though we didn't know what that was back then, or war trauma. People died in that show, like died and stuff. So real cool show. And so a toy company we're all familiar with on this podcast, Playmates, had the production rights for their toys. So that line came out for them. Yeah. I actually owned one Exosquad frame. It was a Neo-Sapien E-frame. I think I still have it somewhere in my toys. Only one. And I could have got a whole fleet of them because do y'all remember KB Toys from back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
So when KB Toys went out of business, the main stores went out of business, but all their product were getting funneled to KB outlets. Eric, I don't know if you were living in Richmond then or not, but when I was in middle school in the 90s, there used to be a KB toy store outlet in Williamsburg at the outlet malls. So all of that product was getting funneled there, and you could have got some Exosquad toys in the late 90s for like dirt cheap, and yeah, so that's the premise of the story. Now back to you, Jared.
The toy line though, so from my childhood, I think I had like 4, maybe 5 of the Exo frames.
Oh, nice.
And they had it was just incredible detail from what I remember. They were very sturdy, and I think at some point I must have sold them in a garage sale or something, unfortunately. But yeah, as Chad was saying, recently I've been looking on eBay for them, or just around, and the only ones I've come across are not in very good condition, unfortunately. So
how are the prices? Are the prices like through the roof? If they're bad condition, are they pretty cheap then, I guess?
The ones I saw were more expensive than what I would have wanted to pay for them in that condition.
I actually ran across some in box before I left to go on my deployment. So, so over here on the East Coast, Chris knows the store. We have what's called Second and Charles. It's a subsidiary of Books A Million. So when Books A Million was about to go out of business, they started up a store that's kind of like the FYE for books, where you could trade in old toys, books, graphic novels, comic books, video games, action figures, CDs, the whole gambit. So I went to the Second and Charles, the one on Broad Street by the Chuck E. Cheese, and I was in there and I saw about, I think, 5 or 6 Exosquads, or maybe it might have been 10. But they had some of the big ones that came in the big box, like the big yellow one that the girl with the buzz cut, had. They had that Exo frame, and they wanted like, I think, $120, maybe $130 for it, but it was still in box. So they were priced up, marked up. I actually, after y'all talked about it, looked some up on eBay. There was some in box, but people were like charging ridiculous prices for them.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, they were nice. They were just good looking figures, and I remember as a kid, I loved the cartoon, and I wanted to get some of the figures, and I'm not sure why I didn't. I'm not sure if it was the price point, and I was like, no, I just, just trying to not spend all my money on toys all the time, even when I was 12 or whatever. I do remember watching that cartoon, and I believe they used to show it in the mornings before I would get on the bus to head to middle school. So, like, I'd be watching it in the morning. I'm pretty sure I missed the bus once or twice because of it, and it made my dad really mad. Like, it pissed him off that I missed the bus. I'm like, I was watching Exosquad, Dad, leave me alone. Like, and I think it used to come on after James Bond Jr. or whatever. Like, so that was how my mornings were. It was James Bond Jr. and Exosquad, and then I'd get on the bus. And I was like, I don't know what's happening here. Like, these humans are flying around in these suits, and they're in space, and they're blowing stuff up, and I don't even know if this is really effective way to like have space combat is wearing a suit like this, but it looked badass. I thought it was the coolest thing. So I never got the toys, but it was one of those lines I really wish I had gotten into. What about you, Chris? Did you ever get yourself an Exosquad back in the day?
Yeah, I had quite a few of them actually. What I really liked was that each like exo frame was different to each like character, like it wasn't just like they all had the same, boring, like, well, it's not really boring, but the same like exosuit. They all had one that was kind of like either like fit their job description or like their personality, And there was also there was a Neo Sapien that was on the human side, kind of like Worf, So he was like, he had that like inner conflict. Yeah. And he drove like the plane, and like the wings would come down, and like it would like so that one was a really cool one. I had that one too.
No. The hotshot young kid. The hotshot young kid had the plane. He had the 2-seater with the young lady. That was from Venus.
The toy was like green and
yeah.
I had that one. That was good.
Yeah, man, that was
the one that I remember is he had, it was like a burgundy one. It was like a red one, so maybe there was 2 planes.
No, the only one with the plane, like a plane, was the hot shot, the kid with the blue plane.
All right, we're gonna have to Google this later.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. We gotta get research on this. And
look, I don't want to get into a fight. All right.
What I wanted to say is my friend sent me a link like, almost 10 years ago. And I have all the episodes of Exosquad on a hard drive. So I have 2 episodes because the 2 seasons. And what pissed me off was they were getting ready to go into a third season, but they just canceled the show randomly because there was like some new alien threat. And I was like, okay, you can see that the Neo Sapiens and the humans were going to have to team together right after the humans had beat the Neo Sapiens. But then they went and canceled the show. So I was pissed off about that.
Well, speaking of blasts from the past, do you guys see that the Nacelle company is releasing a line of biker mice from Mars figures? These new figures that they're putting out. I don't know if everybody here remembers Biker Mice from Mars or everybody in our audience. That was one of those like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ripoff anamorphic superhero TV shows that came out in the 90s. Very Biker Mice from Mars. Like it literally just everything you need to know is in the title of the TV. They are literally mice. They ride bikes. They are from Mars. I mean, that's literally, that's it. I don't even know if I ever watched the show. I think maybe it was a little after my time, but I do remember thinking like, man, this is a ridiculous cartoon. And then just kind of maybe that was a little boomer of me because like I'm sure when my parents saw me watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they were like, well, this is dumb. A bunch of turtles walk around beating people up, okay, and they're ninjas for some reason. This is ridiculous. So how do you guys feel about this? These kind of, I think they've released, the cell company's coming out with Mad Balls, and I think there's another line that I'm not even thinking of right now. Chris, you might remember better than I do. Pardon?
Sectars.
So I don't think that was it. I don't even know what you just said, but yeah, that's probably it. That could be another one.
It was like they were like insect people.
Oh yeah. Was it Food Fighters too? Maybe were they re-releasing Food Fighters?
Oh, Barnyard Commandos.
Barnyard Commandos, that's what it was. And Jared is like, is Food Fighters really a thing? Food Fighters was a thing back in the day. It's literally like a hot dog and a donut and a cheeseburger and all these different things that were like
drumstick.
Yeah, drumstick, all kind of, and they were like commando warriors with different weapons and stuff. And they'll fetch. I mean, those will go for some money. So like, yeah.
I'm gonna. Have to
I also had one
up.
of the vehicles too. I believe it was like an egg carton or something. So yeah, I think they had a play set too, but that's a little harder to find.
But yeah, so I saw the Mad Balls and the Barnyard Commandos. I saw those at a toy show recently, and those are actually some nice looking.
Yeah, they
kind of come in like that box, like how Pops do, but they're bigger. Like the figures themselves are bigger, the boxes are bigger. And there's some good looking stuff that Nacelle's putting out. So these biker mice, I think they're going to be kind of a cool idea. I mean, what do you think about what do you guys think about these older toy lines from our childhood, from the 80s and 90s? Companies like the Nacelle company and all these different guys coming out. And Brian Volk-Weiss, just shout out to that guy because I feel like he's kind of living like my own personal dream of releasing toys from like his childhood and making TV shows about toys and all this kind of stuff. I mean, how do you guys feel about all these toy lines coming back from all these different companies? Is it like a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it weird? Like, how do you guys feel about it?
I don't know that
I think
show whatsoever. That was I'm a little older than you guys, so I never saw it.
Yeah,
I think it's great. I mean, whatever the market could be interested in, let's make it. Let's fill those gaps, in the fandom where nothing was available, or in some cases maybe the toys weren't so good at a certain point in time. Now you can make the ultimate versions of something. I think we talked about that last time with the HasLab.
Yeah.
And things like, a better Snake Mountain or Eternia playset or whatever. Now with the technology and the tools they got, I mean, they can make the ultimate version of something. Why not? I mean, it's not for me. I don't know anything about that show. I'll skip it and save some money, but
yeah. No, definitely.
They're excited about it. That's awesome.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is that it's definitely not for me either. It's not something I would get into, but I do love the idea that somebody's out there like, hey, let's bring some of this stuff back, because there are some things I would like to see come back. I wonder if, like, Street Sharks, for example, that was another show that's basically the same thing, another Teenage Mutant Ninja. I wonder if that's like on his radar to bring something like that back. I mean, what about you, Jared? What about just all this old stuff coming back?
Oh yeah, I think it's great. I mean, I think the more that is available out there, the better. I mean,
100%.
Especially it'll probably be a little bit better quality nowadays, and well, depending, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I think that's another thing is that like for adult collectors, it's kind of the dream because the quality's there, like the accessories are going to be there, the artwork on the box is probably going to be there, like it's probably going to be pretty tight too. And one thing about the Cell Company and Brian, I always want to pronounce his name the German way, but he doesn't, so I have to always correct myself. Brian Volk-Weiss. I always want to say Brian Volk-Weiss, but anyway. I think they've really listened to their constituents and their customers and the people who purchase items from them because when they originally announced these Biker Meister bars, they weren't going to come with their helmets like they did on the show, like the original toys. And then people were like, where are the helmets at? And then like a week later, they were like, hey guys, we're making the helmets too. Like, hey guys, we heard you. Like, we heard your cries. And then I just got an email, I think it was yesterday from them, and it showed the pictures of like with the helmets and stuff.
Yeah, they're making the bikes too.
See, that's pretty cool. I feel like you need the bikes. I'm going to mute myself for a second while I cough because I'm getting over from strep throat. Talk amongst yourselves.
I was just going to say that guy, I thought that name sounded familiar to me, Brian Volk-Weiss, however you say it. He is the guy behind the Toys That Made Us show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize he had
He does a
toy
lot of
company.
also the toy store near you. His company is the Nacelle Company, which is named after Star Trek, you know, and they're doing a lot. They're doing a lot of stuff. They're doing like they also do like some comedy like specials because that was his original background. He came from working with comics. They're actually doing a line of action figures based on comics.
Really?
Like stand-up comedians,
like a Richard Pryor action figure.
Not sweet. Well. They have a few other ones. They're trying to get a lot of the family's permission, so they're having trouble with some. But they already Joan Rivers is one of the ones that they're doing. So like
there's a couple of other like obscure comics that I didn't recognize the names of, but yeah, that's kind of a cool line that they're getting into. Yeah.
But also they're doing Expanse figures from that show, The Expanse.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, what's their track record like? Have they done any other lines that I may know of?
I mentioned earlier that I saw their Mad Balls and their Barnyard Commandos when I was at a toy show, and they're good looking. It's good looking figures. It's good looking. Yeah.
I believe another company is doing those, and they're helping promote it because it's like a smaller company.
I think they're promoting on the website. Yeah,
Sectars is theirs though, and they're also doing like the Robo Force, which is like which was an old like 80s line that they're re-releasing, and apparently it had like a short-lived cartoon, but they're actually putting out a current cartoon to go with that line. So that's actually something pretty cool and different that they're doing.
Yeah, if you guys don't know about RoboForce, poor RoboForce, they actually premiered at the same toy fair that Transformers did. So while RoboForce would have probably been a huge line, otherwise they premiered with Transformers at the same time. They were just too similar. The audience went to Transformers, and that's just unfortunately how it went. So he's bringing that too back within the Cell Company. They made the documentary The Center Seat on was that Prime? Amazon Prime, the Star Trek documentary. Yeah.
They're putting out a book. Stuff. They're putting out a book too. Actually, they already did, and it's like sold out. So they're going to try and do more, and they're also going to put out like a Stargate book.
What's the book about?
Like that as well. So hopefully they do a documentary for that as well. It's basically just like the book is like from the show center seat, so it's a lot of the stuff that they had in that show with also some other stuff that they probably had to edit out or something like that. So it's basically just like an encyclopedia of like Star Trek stuff, and I believe like some behind the scenes stuff that a lot of people don't really know about.
Mm-hmm.
That, like they interviewed a lot of the cast and stuff,
Yeah, man.
Mhm.
So I just want to make sure we cover a couple more these new releases before we wrap up and get out of here in a little bit.
Oh, they're also doing Gates McFadden's podcast too, I believe.
Oh, do they? That makes sense. Because
Yeah.
she hosted the center seat.
They produced that also, the Investigates.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
very cool.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's cool. You're fired. No, it's fine. I just, it's totally fine. You're right. I think that's probably what the connection was, why they brought her in to narrate the center seat too. But yeah, man, that guy's got a lot of great stuff going on. Like you said, his company is named after the cell from Star Trek. It's literally named
Yeah.
it's a Star Trek reference.
He's like a really cool, humble guy too. I got to meet him at the panel at WonderCon, and I took a quick picture with him. And he's really, really cool, down to earth guy who's just like a fan, you know.
Yeah, man. I think that's kind of the dream, right? Just cool, down to earth guy, just making the stuff that from his childhood that he loves, TV shows and toys and stuff.
I love like Toy Store Near You. Also, I think that's like the ultimate dream job right there, is going around.
100%. One of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
One of my favorite. It's on Amazon Prime. If you haven't seen that, check that out. Cover a couple more lines before we get out of here. I don't think we'd be doing our job as toy podcasters if we didn't talk about new releases. Eric, did you throw that Indiana Jones line? Is shipping out now?
Yeah, I started. I guess one of the downsides of ordering from Entertainment Earth, except for the free shipping, is that it takes like 2 weeks to get anything. So I haven't gotten all of the figures yet, but I do have the new Sala, John Rhys Davies character.
Indy.
Yep. I thought he turned out really well. He only comes with the 2 accessories, like the shovel and the rope, when he's helping.
He doesn't
Indy
come with the
down.
monkey?
No monkey for him.
Monkey sold separately
The monkey comes
from
with,
Hasbro.
comes with Marion, who I have here.
Oh, okay, cool.
Who I have very precariously perched on her shoulder. I don't know if he'll stay there as I move this up to the camera.
Does he
but-
come with poison too?
You know what? He should have come with the bad dates, you know?
Yeah.
And
I think we've all
does
had
she-
one of those.
Does she have a frying pan that seems kind of misogynistic? Is that what that was?
that was that scene in the movie where she picks up the frying pan and kind of, you know.
She also comes with a vacuum and stuff to make a sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well,
Aaron,
the
please
movie
edit
takes
that
place
part
in the
out.
30s, so I mean they're trying to be accurate, you know, to the time period. Maybe.
They just put out the promos for like the second series, right? With like the Temple of Doom.
Yeah, I am super excited. I mean, my daughter had just gotten old enough where we thought Temple of Doom is something she could watch now, you know, ripping hearts out of chests, things like that, or, you know, a little over the top. But, like, it was fun. We watched that, I think, on a Friday night, and then the next day, because Star Wars Celebration was going on in Europe, they announced the whole line of Temple of Doom figures. And so,
Yeah.
you know, if maybe I hadn't seen the movie in a while, maybe I would have been more like, oh, I can wait later and pick those up. But I just pre-ordered them all. I was just like, oh, short round figure, holy crap! Like, I mean, I don't think
Temple of Doom is my favorite out of all of them.
Yeah. The only criticism I'd have about that next wave of 6 figures is that 4 of them are Indiana Jones.
Yeah, but they come. It comes with like a Build-A-Figure pieces, right?
Yeah, the
Like it
builder
comes
Who
like
build?
is going to be the
You
it's
build-
like a skull with the Sankara, however you say it, Sankara stones, 3
Yeah.
stones in the eyes and the mouth.
and there's like a cobra that sits on top of it too.
Yep. Yeah, it was a cool part in the movie where Indy is like looking at them, and then he looks up and sees the cobra, and he kind of gives a face like, ugh. Like a little
Well,
throwback.
I'm a
If people
sucker.
don't know out there, Indiana Jones hates snakes, so
Yeah,
just a little fact for all you people out there.
you have to keep reminding us of that. Yeah. So, I mean, I think these first 2 figures are really nice and turned out really well. So I'm happy with them, and I think the line is
Very cool.
looks like it's not slowing down. It's just going to keep going. So excited.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Nice.
I'm a sucker for a Build-A-Figure. Like, you know, Marvel Legends does that a lot. Like, I don't know, man. Something about buying a wave of figures and then just building another figure out of that. I'm all about that life, man. I'll do that all day.
Oh yeah,
Were they the first ones to do it? I believe they were, right?
They might have been. I don't know. That's a good question.
here's the Ark of the
Yeah,
Covenant.
and then like
so far.
DC Universe did it too. So now
Yeah.
now it's kind of the norm.
Yeah, man. So, anything new from Eric? Anything new from Super 7 with G.I. Joe Ultimates or the Skystriker or anything?
Well, I know. Yeah, maybe I'm the guy in the group here who's into GI Joe the most, but the Super Sevens, just kind of passed on those because I thought it was a little strange that the classified line was really taking off once they pivoted away from sort of the sci-fi kind of crap that they were doing with it. They got the feedback from the fans like, we don't want that. We want them to be basically ultimate versions of the characters and the more the military side of the original figures. So they pivoted away from that. We're getting incredible versions. Like I have Dusty right here.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't know if you can see him
Yeah.
very well, but I mean, removable helmet and everything, really nice face sculpt, the hair, accurate.
He's got some Captain Pike hair going on.
So I feel like these are good enough, 20, and the price went up from 20 to 25, but with those Ultimates figures coming out at, what are they, $44.99? I mean, they come with a few more accessories. I'll grant them that. Super 7 does a great job with like episode specific nods, with the accessories and things like that, which are cool, but it's almost twice the price. And I feel like these are so good that I'm not really in on the Ultimates. Just kind of skipping those.
I got you. I've got
Ultimates are also based on the cartoon as well, like specifically the cartoon. Yeah,
that's true. They have the more animated look, which is
Yeah.
cool. So I mean, they're different enough. I could see why someone would collect both, but it's just a trade-off of how many lines you're collecting and what you're going to prioritize. So, I guess last thing I'll say, I mean, I could probably talk for a half hour about the HasLab Skystriker, but I'll just summarize it by saying that it has actually been a huge disappointment for me. For a product that was $230, it has been rife with quality control issues, and I've actually had to send 2 of them back. And I'm on my 3rd one now, which still has problems, but I actually turned to the fan community. The landing gear basically doesn't work right, and some guy analyzed the problem, and with his 3D printer, he came up with these little like parts, little inserts. If you go inside the innards of the jet and you slide these things in a certain spot, now the landing gear works the way that it should. And
nice.
He just said, if you make a donation to Wounded Warriors or something, send me a screenshot and I'll just mail you I'll print a couple for you and I'll just send them to you for free.
Cool.
Oh, very cool.
So I just made a donation for like $10 and I put the parts in yesterday and they work. So, I mean, I guess I'm keeping this one. I'm not going to send it back a 3rd time because they insist on you sending the entire thing back. So, like the first one I got, there was like a few things that were broken. And instead of just, getting those replaced, they said, box the entire thing up. And it's a major ordeal. I actually had to watch an unboxing video on YouTube in reverse. So I remember how to put the freaking thing back together. Because it was so many like boxes within boxes within boxes, and I just I didn't want to just throw it in there, and I want to make sure it would get back to them in reasonable shape, so they didn't like try to charge me again or something. I didn't know what was going to happen, so I had to put it all back exactly the way that it had to be, and then to have to do it a second time, I was just losing it. I was like, I'll give them some credit that when I opened a ticket with Hasbro, that I was eventually able to speak on the phone to an actual human being who was like the lead customer service specialist. And I tried to give her I was like, look, go to His Tank forums, read the posts. I'm not the only one who's having all these problems, So I tried to give him constructive feedback. I didn't get too angry with her. I was civil with her, but I was like, this is kind of ridiculous. I mean, you're a major toy
Yeah.
company, and you know, $230 for a Skystriker jet, which really is worth about $50, based on the prior versions that didn't come out that long ago. It's just a huge upcharge for this thing, just because of all the like block
Yeah.
effects and figures, and you know, thank God for those other unlocks. Otherwise, it really just would not have been worth it. So, long story short, hopefully now I'll have something that works that I can keep. But the whole thing kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. It was very frustrating, and it's probably going to take a while before I can like look at it on the shelf and actually feel good about it. And the Transformer HasLab, the most recent one, there was a whole thread on the Transformers forums about that too, saying go open it up, go
Was
check.
it the Unicron?
No, it's the Victory Saber. It's from the Japanese.
Oh, I didn't get that one. Woo!
Headmasters
It's-
Cartoon or whatever.
It's crazy because they charge so much for those things too. Like now we're seeing McFarlane put out like the Batmobile at a more reasonable price. You know, like
Yeah.
doing vehicles, like large scale vehicles that are like a little bit more economically friendly.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of proving that it can be done. You know, you can do it like for a cheaper price.
Now, I
there's
want to
a-
say this. For me,
Go ahead.
No, I just had an issue because I ordered some of my HasLabs. I just got them and had to put them in storage. So I won't be able to see how they came until I go to my storage and open them up. You know, like I got Unicron, I got Galactus, I got the Mandalorian ship. I'm forgetting the name right now.
Galactus's knees were a problem. I heard from some of my friends. He had like wobbly knees.
I heard that too. Yep.
So, yeah, any of these crowdfunding things, you got to open them because they're not mass produced. I was just nervous. I didn't even know if they would have extras to even send me. You know, I was like, God, I hope they made a few hundred extra. Because, I mean, if I'm returning 2 or 3 of them, how many other dozens or hundreds of people are having the same issues?
Yeah.
They probably already blocked your number. They're like, this guy's not sending us back another one.
Yeah. They actually just send you your first one back. You send them the freaking Skystriker, and then they're like, here you go, it's all done. They just send you the same one back.
Yeah.
As far as like new release stuff, I think the only thing I have on the way right now is the Prodigy figures, the Star Trek Prodigy figures from Playdates. I've got those on the way from Entertainment Earth, so I'm looking forward to those. They've only got a few of them coming, and I feel like the other half are supposed to be coming after that. Kind of really looking forward to what that Janeway figure is going to look like. Kind of looking forward to what Rock Talk is going to look like. I feel like that's going to be a nice beefy figure. It'll be nice to have a little Murph figure just chilling out because he's all extra super cute and whatnot. Anybody else got any new releases coming out, or anything you're looking forward to, or anything that's on the way?
I got my Exo 6 Chakotay coming like next week, and then I got
Very cool.
a 1/6 scale, like it's like a diorama piece actually, like for Sherlock Holmes from the show. I have that coming next week. What I've really been waiting for is the like Mythic Legions.
Yep.
Do you know those figures? Well, they have a new line coming out, Cosmic Legions, where it's more like sci-fi based and like space. So like I've had that on pre-order for like almost 2 or 3 years now. So I'm just those are supposed to come out this year, but I'm just like I've been waiting for those. Like that's why I don't like putting money out there, because it's like it's going on 3 years now, and I'm just like, and I'd rather just have waited the 3 years and then maybe pay another $10 or $20 on top of it.
Did you actually have to pay for that up front?
Yeah.
Oh.
I guess the only good thing about that is if it's been like 3 years, then think about how much more expensive it would be now with like supply chain issues or the price of plastic and inflation and stuff like that.
Two figures from that line, so I'm only waiting for like 2 of them, but still those figures were like I think one of them was like 60 and one of them was like 30, so like $100 right there with tax and shipping and all that.
I got you, man. Jared, you don't have anything coming out that you're trying to get?
No, I don't have anything coming out. I'm just now devoting more of my time to. I really want to find a JT Marsh and a Wolf Bronsky Exosquad. New in box would be preferable, but yeah.
It's a good man right there. It's a good man. What about you, Avery? Anything new coming out that you're looking for?
So I got a bunch of pre-orders that have been hitting lately. So like, I put pre-orders in. So I got Elisa from Gargoyles. They just did Angela. I put the pre-order in for her on Big Bad Toy Store. I don't know. I did 5 of the Xanatos.
Really? Yeah.
The Xanatos robots, the Goliath robots.
The robot gargoyle. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I got Xanatos, but they haven't done Xanatos in his suit yet, the red suit. And then something came, but it's at my dad's house. They brought out, I think it was Mayfex. I can't remember. If y'all remember the Max Fleischer Superman Attack of the Robots, they did. Toy set of that. I got that. I pre-ordered that set, so I was in my pile of loot on Big Bad Toy Store, or it got shipped to my dad's house. I can't remember right now.
Nice. Did you see that Brooklyn and Broadway have been popping up in stores? The gargoyles.
No, I haven't seen. Well, I ain't been at those stores because I'm here, so I didn't know. But if they have that, that's cool.
Yeah, I've just been seeing photos. They've already hit local stores. They haven't hit like Walmart, Target yet, but those local NECA vendors have been getting them, which I think is pretty cool. That the smaller toy stores are getting it first, so they're getting a shot to sell some of these before they hit Target and Walmart. I have them on pre-order from thelasttoystore.com, which is a toy store I highly recommend. They've always been really good to me, especially with pre-orders. They're definitely worth checking out. And the customer service there is fantastic. But yeah, so the pre-orders are about to be filled, and I know they're actually already hitting shelves. So if you're a Gargoyles fan, that NECA Gargoyles line that they have has been really nice, and they've been putting those out too. But those are the 2 that have just hit up. Oh yeah, what's your pick of the podcast? You guys have any toys you want to highlight? Anything in your collection you want to talk about real quick before we sign off?
So I was gonna do some vintage stuff, and then also what I just got recently of a pickup. So
some show and tell.
Yeah. This one I had when I was a kid, and I just picked it up again recently because it popped up on Marketplace. It's a Commando.
Yeah.
John Matrix. I used to have this when I was a kid, so it's pretty cool figure. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's fun. Also, this one, I have 3 of these, and they're pretty rare. But when I was cleaning, I was just like, oh man, I really want to show this off. Was the Starship Troopers bug?
Oh yeah! Nice. Wow, that's pretty. Who even made that? Check the crotch.
Yeah, I forgot who made it. It was we'll have to look that up later. But these are really awesome. I have 3 of them.
That's pretty cool.
They're awesome. I love them. And also, I just wanted, for what I just picked up recently, was my 7 and 9 figure.
Very nice. Exo 6. She looks good.
Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, her belt, the pouches are magnetic.
Yeah.
And they even did the little ridges that she has on her ribs,
Yeah.
It's just really, really good figure. I love this figure.
Yeah, Exo 6 does a good job.
I wish they would have done the silver kind of cat suit that she had, but this one's cool though. This one kind of pops,
Yeah. What about you, Eric? I know you've showed off a couple things. Anything you'd like to show off before we get out of here? Anything new? Anything old? Borrowed? Blue?
Well, yeah, those indie figures are what I just recently opened. I also...
Nice.
Do you have that NECA ET? The one where he's on the bike?
I do, but it's in the pile. It's not open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pile. Yeah.
That's the other problem in a whole new I don't know, whole new line. I don't. That's probably not going to be a very long-lived line, but still, there's 4 of them, 5 different
Yeah.
releases. It's like, oh, now I need
Yeah.
an ET shelf. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Better just not to open them for now.
I have it right here, but I love this figure too. Always wanted that.
Yeah. Well, and doesn't that come with like a backdrop that's meant to be displayed with it, like behind it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It,
the
it
moon or
also has
something?
an action. It also has an action feature where, like, I think you pull it back or something, or like it.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
the
like
toy
rides or
cars where
something,
it
but-
spring forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so I got this. This is from the Masterpiece Transformers line. So these are pretty much exclusive to Japan now. Back in the
Oh.
day, maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago, they would release some of them at Toys R Us as exclusives. The more popular characters like Optimus or Bumblebee, things like that. But the line has kept going. They release maybe 3 or 4 of them a year. And I guess it's just a little comparison. So I have the actual vintage Trailbreaker G1 car here, and then here's the Masterpiece version of it. So it's quite a bit. Sorry, playing with the camera here. It's quite a bit longer, more detailed. But what I thought was really interesting, I think this was like $150. They're not cheap. Plastic tires, even though vintage toy, rubber tires. So
Yeah.
that was kind of I feel like if this is the ultimate version again, of a character, like with all the incredible articulation and, show accurate, both in vehicle and robot modes. I mean, to cheap out and have plastic tires on it, I don't know. That's just kind of
I get
Does
it.
Takara make the new ones, or is that Hasbro also?
I believe it's like it depends. Again, if they decide to bring any more over, I think it'll be like a joint partnership kind of thing. But this is Takara. It's designed by them. The whole box is in Japanese and everything. All the instructions are in Japanese.
So probably they're making it, and then Hasbro's distributing it or something.
Yeah, they
obviously,
put
I think.
they put an outer sleeve over it that has English on it, but you basically can just
Okay.
like take that off and throw it away, and then you have the actual Japanese like retail box.
I just found some G1s at the thrift the other day. Was what was the construction one? Devastator or something?
Yeah, the combiner, 6 of them.
Yeah, I found like
Yeah.
3 of those, really really cheap. So I thought those are pretty cool.
Nice.
One of them's missing like an arm or like a wheel or something, but other than that, they're pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Very cool. Avery, anything you want to show off? At least tell us about. We can put an overlay up.
Only thing I can think of right now is, like I said, I got the Jaguar and the other 2 Ninja Turtles. that
Oh
was
yeah.
put
Yeah,
up
man.
for Holothon. They put them up on Big Bad Toy Store. So one thing I liked about Holothon, by me working at night, I was able to get to. By me working at night last year when they did it, I could get to the Targets near me when they opened and maybe get to some stuff before everyone else. So when they had that big Ninja Turtle haul with the 4-pack, I was able to get 2 of the 4-pack. So, but and I got a Demona and all of that jazz. But
Nice.
that's one thing I miss about being in the States is just the thrill of the hunt.
I guess for myself, pick up the podcast real quick. We were talking so much trash about Pops earlier. I didn't realize there was one sitting right next to me the whole time. So this is awkward. I'll show this on behalf of my girlfriend, I guess. This is hers. This is Captain Hook at the Peter Pan's flight attraction from Disney's. I swear, it's my girl. It's not mine. It's not mine. This isn't mine. This is my girlfriend's. And it just happened to be sitting here the whole time, and I just realized it was here. But it's a nice look. It's a big box. It's a nice look, and it's limited. It's a very specific Captain Hook at the Peter Pan's flight attraction. So that's very, very niche, right? But on behalf of myself, Chris mentioned this earlier. but my Chakotay from Exo 6 came in, and we'll just bust them open real quick. Just really nice figure that they put out, and looking forward to getting more in this line. It's just, I mean, it looks fantastic. I know just there's a lot of glare here, and not going to be able to do the figure itself justice, but Exo 6, they do amazing work, and that's just a good looking Chakotay. It's a good looking boy right there. So this cost me about 150 Akuchi Moyas. But I really appreciate it because he's no longer far from the bones of his people. So he's here with us now. So I'm glad he arrived safely. So other than that, I mean, on behalf of myself and Chris and Eric and Avery and Jared, this has been the ToyBoyz podcast. We appreciate you tuning in and listening. Make sure you check us out on Facebook and Instagram, TikTok. We're all over the place. We're on YouTube with the video, but also if you want to check it out on any of your podcast formats. Thanks to Jared's wife, Erin, we're all over the place. We're on Google Podcasts, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify. We're on podcast platforms that I've literally never even heard of before in my life. So just search for us, and I'm sure you'll find us somewhere out there.
Also, I wanted to say, if anyone's watching out there, leave a comment or something, give us some feedback, or let us know something you'd like to hear about on this show, or what you like or what you don't like.
Definitely.
We're open to all that constructive criticism,
Yeah, smash that like button, leave us a comment, let us know what's going on, hit subscribe, and yeah, definitely just as much feedback, shoot us a comment, whatever.
Let us know who your favorite toy boy is, too.
Yeah, let us know which one of us is cutest. Leave it in the comments, all right? All right, until next time, this is the ToyBoyz signing off. Keep on collecting.